WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Enough is enough, and it's time for a change!
I can't believe I'm putting my voice to this.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
Thank you for your irrelevant opinion.
And now, here's your host of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon.
The first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say. I'm a broadcast journalist. I have a right to my opinion.
Oh, son of a...
I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even at commentary.
There's the sound of the bell. We are set to go. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you. Back after a week north of the border. Hopefully you enjoyed the archived clips from last week, the various interviews that I had over the course of the last year with Jim Ross, the WWE Hall of Famer, of course, Paige, the WWE Diva. You'll see her in action tomorrow night at the SummerSlam pay-per-view. We'll get into that over the course of the hour, as well as Dean Ambrose, who also will be in action tomorrow at SummerSlam. Of course, SummerSlam tomorrow here on, well, we'll be talking about SummerSlam here on WBCB. You won't be hearing SummerSlam on WBCB. That'd be a heck of a get, wouldn't it? But we'll have our predictions certain to go wrong later in the program. Of course, the huge WWE weekend, a lot of stuff going on in the New York City area. And we'll talk a little bit about the various goings-on over the course of the hour. Obviously, SummerSlam going to be a huge topic of conversation. Lucas, conspicuous by his absence, my cohort intern, Lucas DeSangro, he is down in Paulsboro, New Jersey, getting ready for Monster Factory Pro Wrestling, which will be in action tonight down in Paulsboro. I'll tell you a little bit more about that this hour. And actually, at the moment, he and just the other students at the Monster Factory are getting an exclusive seminar with Bully Ray, formerly known as Bubba Ray Dudley from the WWE, and, of course, Bully Ray and TNA. So, yeah, that's one of the advantages to being a student at the Monster Factory. You never know who's going to pop in, so lucky for him. I'll, meanwhile, be kind of just hanging out here and having a chat, getting your thoughts on a lot of different things. We'll get to the phones in just a moment. Of course, we'll have Today in Wrestling History later. We've got birthdays. We've got the whole bit. Let's go ahead and get to the phones, and we've got Scott on the line. Scott, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Hi. I'm real disappointed in my idol, Hulk Hogan. Did you hear what he did?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it a couple of weeks ago. He's had a few questionable decisions over the course of the years. Obviously, the ongoing lawsuit with Gawker regarding some video footage being filmed of him without his knowledge in a bedroom, and we're just kind of leaving it at that. Obviously, we've mentioned it a few times, the sex tape involving Hulk Hogan, and now the further developments of some, I guess, commentary that he had made after the act that had various racial and homophobic insensitivities. I'm guessing that's what you're referencing there, Scott.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's my idol. I grew a mustache like him. I act like him at work. All the guys I work with think it's great, and that he goes and does that. Oh, it's disappointing. It's almost as disappointing as the Phillies, you know.
Well, I mean, they had a decent run after the All-Star break, but I know it's kind of an apples and oranges comparison. But I think the difference is this year with everything. I don't want to turn this into a baseball talk segment, but you kind of expected the Phillies to do what they did this year, whereas I don't think anybody expected. Well, that's kind of part of it too. I don't think anybody expected this out of Terry Bollea, out of the person who's behind the Hulk Hogan character. It'd almost be probably the closest comparison I can get would be when Chase Utley was at the All-Star game a few years ago and didn't realize there was a mic around him and just drops an F-bomb out of nowhere. That's probably the closest comparison that you can get, because I guess his name was announced and they were getting booed, and he said something along the lines of boo and then bleep you, and the microphones picked it up because it was the All-Star game or the All-Star festivities, so there were microphones everywhere. But it's not exactly the first time that Chase Utley has been associated in Philadelphia with dropping an F-bomb. Of course, we go back to Halloween of 2008 for that memory.
Yeah.
I know most of the people outside of the Philadelphia area going, what is he talking about? But you know where I'm going with that, Scott.
Yeah, huge Phillies fan. You think I should shave the mustache then? That handlebar mustache I got.
Oh, like the Fu Manchu mustache, a lot like Ho. Yeah, I know. It's difficult whenever someone who you idolize gets into some semblance of trouble. This is a perfect time where I wish Lucas were around here, because he had to go through that when one of his heroes, I know I'm going a little bit younger here, but Jeff Hardy had those issues a few years ago where his house was raided by police, and they found a bunch of drugs in his on his person, prescription and otherwise, and a needle was involved. And it's one of those stirring reality things, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for the time.
Oh, no problem. Appreciate the call, Scott. Thank you. Thank you so much for chiming in. Yeah, that's. I haven't really heard a whole lot of developments. Just kind of the usual legal system of kind of kicking things down the road as far as the actual proceedings of the lawsuit and where it's going at this point. I know Hogan's trying to get it wrapped up as quickly as possible, because the longer this is out there, the worse he sounds, and the more transcripts that are supposedly sealed that are getting released, the worse it's making Hulk Hogan look. So I think he wants to get this over and done with, so that way he can put things behind him and try to salvage something. As we've seen with WWE, time heals all wounds. So is it possible that maybe a year or two down the road, Hogan may be back in the WWE fold? It's possible, but it's highly unlikely. Look how long it took for Vince McMahon and Bret Hart to make amends after everything with Montreal back in 1997. It took him, 13 years to mend that fence. And Hogan, not exactly a spring chicken. He's about a week and a half ago turned 62. So I don't know, add another 13 years. I don't know if we're going to see Hulkamania at 75 running wild in, what would that be, 2028 or something like that. And that is a lot of interesting math to say the least. So, a couple things to get into over the course of the weekend here, and I guess I should also talk a little bit, about my absence. First of all, for those who missed it last week, I was not here. I was at a family reunion way up, probably about 900 miles north of here, in Canada, seeing some relatives and whatnot, and wanted to send a shout out and thanks to my cousin Alex, whom I'd met for the very first time, and I just wanted to say thanks, Alex, for making the reunion weekend not suck. So thanks, brah, on that one. All right, let's get into some news and notes here. A couple things to talk about. Jon Stewart, in case you missed it, is hosting tomorrow's SummerSlam. That's right, after 16 years as the host of Comedy Central's The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. Stewart announcing his retirement plans, and some of those plans include hosting SummerSlam tomorrow night in the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Now, Stewart, as we've mentioned on here a few times, has had an ongoing feud with WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins, and there's been some hysterical comedy to that, and whether that will continue, despite the fact that Rollins has a huge match tomorrow night, anything's possible. Probably have to pull some of that up here. There we go. Since I had this from a little sampling of some of the stuff that has gone on back and forth between Seth Rollins and Jon Stewart, including a couple of appearances by Rollins on The Daily Show.
Seth Rollins, you made a lot of mistakes in your life. being a turncoat for your brothers on the Shield, being a toady for the Authority, not being able to choose which color your hair should be. But this is the biggest mistake you ever made. By coming after The Daily Show, you just stepped in a world of hurt, my friend. A world of hurt that even your buddies at J&J Security aren't gonna be able to save you from. I'm coming for you, Rollins, and you're gonna see it. 160 pounds of dynamite. Obviously not dynamite. I mean, my bone density is not what it used to be. 160 pounds of wood, like a softwood, like a pine, like a balsa, still splinters, That's gonna hurt. My point is, you messed with the wrong guy, and I'm coming. And that's money in the bank, my friend.
So there you go. A little something from earlier this year from Jon Stewart, and Rollins has made a couple of appearances on the Daily Show as well. Actually, why not? For funsies, we'll bring out one of those Daily Show cameos here as well. Just some of the back and forth, but that may continue tomorrow night at SummerSlam.
All right, everybody, that is our show. Here it is, your moment of zen.
Officials in India want to set the record straight.
Stuart. Hey, Stuart, look, I've heard every single thing that you've been saying about me. I hope, my friend, that you are prepared for a world of hurt. WWE superstar and poster boy for the Authority, Seth Rollins? How did you interrupt my moment of zen? Oh, how? Please, Stuart. You know me better than that. I can do anything I want. I am all-powerful. Oh, settle down, Obi-Wan. You're not all-powerful. Mind your manners. I've got a little wrestling in my background as well. I've got a little wrestling. I'll put you in a half Nelson, maybe a little jibbity jab with the thing, maybe a little flip-flap behind the... He's right behind me, isn't he? Is he right behind me? Is he... Real tough talk, Stuart. Why don't you shut your mouth and bring it, pal, huh? Let me just say this. A little beard conditioner would go a long way towards me. And let me tell you this, Rollins, I will bring it. Although, unfortunately, I don't have it with me right now. So I will perhaps look for it and meet you somewhere at a later date, like a gentleman. Well, you know what? It's funny you would mention that because really? I actually came here to give you an invitation. Really? Yes. How about you show up this Monday night on Monday Night Raw at Newark at the Prudential Center? You got the guts, Stuart. I have more than the... Oh, Jesus. I think I just pulled something when I turned on there. But I do have the guts, and Oh, you're taller than I thought on that. On the television, it looks like he's... All right, well, Seth Rollins, everybody. We'll be back next week unless I get crushed on the...
Well, he didn't get crushed, and he survived the Prudential Center, and he's going to be hosting Monday Night. He'll be hosting SummerSlam tomorrow night at the Barclays Center in New York City. It's amazing how, in Brooklyn, in New York, it's one of the boroughs of New York. It's close enough. I don't have all the geographical things just rattling around in my brain, but you kind of get where I'm going with that. All right, we're going to take care of some business. We're going to get to Lee on the other side of a quick timeout here. Kind of flying solo, although in the house in the back here, we've got the Philosopher Chris Ermer and old becoming new again in a face from the past, making his presence felt here and his voice felt at WBCB. Ted Efaw, who was here back in the mid-'80s through the early '90s here at WBCB. He's going to be... integrating himself into the Saturday afternoon fold. We'll see if we can maybe get him on here. He's admitted that when it comes to wrestling, he's not one of those people that doesn't know a wrist lock from a wristwatch, but he knows a few names here and there. But it's always good to get different conversation in. So we'll see if we can get them on the other side as well. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Don't say something stupid. Don't take Brock Lesnar's advice. Don't say something stupid. You heard in that intro last week what it did for Booker T.
Say something stupid. Share it.
You heard how that went with Booker T, yes.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Fearon Derry.
We're coming for you.
Hey.
You're a good man,
Did you
Lucas.
say
You're a lot of
Canadian?
Yes, I said Canadian.
Oh, my God, he did it again.
Hoser. All right. Welcome back to the longest-running pro wrestling radio talk show in the history of terrestrial radio, Pro Wrestling Weekly, here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you. Lucas, conspicuous by his absence, he's down in Paulsboro gearing up for the big Monster Factory pro wrestling show going on tonight, which, in fact, I'll tell you about right now. Because what better time, right? Pro wrestling action returning to the Monster Factory. It's at 541 Mantua Avenue in Paulsboro, New Jersey. That's tonight. All three titles are on the line as the main event sees Monster Factory heavyweight champion Matt Riddle defend against former champion Clutch Adams. Also, the tag team titles are on the line as Shooters Inc. take on the menacing force of Luis the Punisher Martinez and QT Marshall. Plus, the MV, Miranda Vianette, defends her Supersonic Championship against Deonna Purrazzo. Also in action, Damian Adams, Matty Ice, Anthony Bennett, and so much more. It all goes down tonight at the Monster Factory. Doors open at 6. The action starts at 7. Tickets just $15 for adults, $10 for kids aged 12 and under. Check out the Monster Factory on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, as well as their website, monsterfactory.org. Kind of an ongoing chronicling as Lucas, our fresh-faced intern turned professional wrestler in the future, as he has taken the steps. He's probably about 7 weeks into his training to be a professional wrestler. So he's not here as often as he used to be, but his presence certainly still felt, if for no other reason than the various drops and little sounders and cute clips that I play. Pretty much making fun of him and whatnot, because that's what friends do.
I'm a nerd.
Thank you, Lucas. All right. Before we get back into some more news, we've got Lee, who's been hanging on patiently. Lee, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Hey, Fearon, can you hear me?
Yep, we got you loud and clear.
I was listening to that first caller, and when he was talking about Hulkster, and my buddy Palms, he likes those kind of videos. He showed it to me. I couldn't believe the old man, was still, doing that kind of stuff. Like, he could still do that. He was really strong on plow.
I see where you're going with that. Well, I think it's a little bit easier than taking back bumps in the ring. That's for sure.
I know you said you had your predictions sure to go wrong, but is there any way you can give us what you think's going to, happen between the Undertaker and Brock Lesnar?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about that. I mean, that's been one that I've been going back and forth on for quite a while, just because, of so many different factors. I mean, Lesnar has been on a bit of a tear as of late. He obviously, the claim to fame has been ending the Undertaker's streak, which we've heard ad nauseum from Paul Heyman about over the last, 16 months now, something like that. Right. On the same token, the Undertaker is a legend, but age has to play some sort of factor. He turned 50 earlier this year. Yeah. I know a lot of people say age isn't anything but a number, but your body only has so much abuse that it can take over the course of the years, and he's been doing this for a really long time. Well, here's what I'm thinking. I have a hunch. I'll give this one away, and then I'll go over it in more detail when I give all the predictions. I have a feeling that some way, shape, or form, maybe there's some chicanery involved, possibly not, but I think that the Undertaker is going to get the victory here, and that's going to set up the potential rubber match for WrestleMania 32 down in the Palace in Dallas, 100,000 plus. The rubber match, and it looks like we lost Lee there. Sorry about that. I heard the little click there. But I'm thinking Undertaker is going to get the nod on that one. I'll have the rest of the predictions and go over everything in a little bit greater detail coming up in the final segment of the show. All right. And some other news. Roddy Piper's cause of death was revealed while I was north of the border. WWE Hall of Famer Roddy Piper, his cause of death listed as a blood clot in his lungs that triggered a heart attack, according to TMZ.com. The story also notes that Piper's death certificate mentions that he suffered from chronic high blood pressure. I don't know about you, but if I raised 4 kids on a mountain in Oregon, my blood pressure would be through the roof. Oh, wait, it already is. Oh, goodness. Kind of making another little bit of news that I don't know. I hate talking about this just because it was, I guess, kind of troublesome, for lack of a better term. I know that it came out last week. Actually, one of our listeners, Danny, posted it up a little over a week ago on the Facebook fan page while I had already left. Otherwise, I would have put it in the recording and whatnot. But at Roddy Piper's funeral, China reportedly bum rushed Triple H. Yeah, we haven't seen or heard from China in a while. But she apparently crashed the funeral and used the opportunity to bum rush Triple H with an apology, quote, for everything. The source on this is her ex-boyfriend, Sean Waltman, ex-Pac. There's been a lot of back and forth between the two of them through various radio shows, including, Opie Radio now on satellite. So there were some tweets and some various things. It's a lot of he said, she said. There's been drama involving China in general, as well as X-Pac and Triple H since before they were parts of Degeneration X, and you're looking over 15 years ago with that. So I don't know. That's what's been reported out there. Nothing really confirmed per se. It's not something that Triple H wants to necessarily get into. He's certainly got a lot of other things going on. So, I don't know. Oh, goodness. Let me talk about some of the ongoings this weekend. Now, Ring of Honor was in Philly last night. They were doing a TV taping down at the old ECW arena, the 2300 arena. They're going to be piggybacking off of the SummerSlam hoopla. They're in Brooklyn tonight at MCU Park. Of course, NXT, they'll be at the Barclays Center tonight with the special little air on the WWE Network, although I'll be watching it on delay because I'll be down at the Monster Factory. Only so many things you can do in such a short period of time, right? And then, of course, SummerSlam tomorrow at the Barclays Center, and then Monday Night Raw also emanating from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. So 3 big nights, 3 big events. Hope you can afford it because I sure as hell can't. Also, Pro Wrestling Syndicate, a little bit closer to here. They're in Sayreville, New Jersey at the Starland Ballroom today. They've got appearances by Mick Foley, Rey Mysterio, New Jack, and Amazing Red, among others. Been to a Pro Wrestling Syndicate show or two. They do some fantastic stuff, even though their base operations is out of Rahway, so that's just a little bit of a hike, just a smidge. Also, a little bit of news. WWE continuing the SummerSlam hype. Of course, yesterday morning they had Triple H and Stephanie on hand for the opening bell at Wall Street, because why not? It's one of those things you do in New York. And they also chronicled John Cena's 500th Make-A-Wish celebrity visitation campaign. I forget what exactly you call those. Granting a Make-A-Wish. 500 of them. That's more than any celebrity in sports and music and movies. That's a heck of an accomplishment, to say the least. So kudos to John Cena for that. And we'll see if he'll continue the never give up vibes as he faces Seth Rollins in a title-for-title match tomorrow night at SummerSlam. John Cena's U.S. title on the line, as is Seth Rollins' WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Not too shabby. Some bad news for a WWE Hall of Famer. His TV series canceled. That's right. Sci-Fi announcing it is canceling the series Haven after 5 seasons. WWE Hall of Famer Adam Copeland, you know him better as Edge, was a series regular as the character of Dwight Hendrickson, appearing in 31 of the show's 78 episodes. It's a little less than half. The final episodes of the series will air on Sci-Fi beginning in October. So, not so good news there for Edge, but he's got some other projects cooking in the pot. So, I think he'll he'll bounce back just fantastically. Also, Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling announcing 2016 touring plans. That's right. They said that they would team up with NJPW to have a full show in Japan scheduled for February. And they also announced plans for more talent going back and forth between ROH and New Japan for 2016. And I'm sure a few people are geeked up about that. And John from Northeast Philly chiming in on the Facebook fan page, giving me a little bit of guff, I guess, because I'm not watching the NXT special night. He says, watching it on a delay. Why delay when you can watch it anytime, anywhere, on almost any device for only, well, first of all, isn't it $9.99, not $9.95? But he says $9.95 with the WWE Network. # marketing. And I think there's one T in marketing, but not to be that guy. But, yeah, why not? I guess I'll be that guy. Bob chiming in, the season was scheduled to be the last when they filmed 2 seasons at once last year of Haven. So I guess this was in the works. They just made it official. Oh, wow. John's just going nuts here. This is what happens when I don't refresh the page. Things changing second by second here. Pro Wrestling Weekly and Conker's Bad Fur Day is an excellent combo. That is the first Conker's Bad Fur Day reference I've seen in a very long time. And I'm sure 98% of you are going, what is Conker's Bad Fur Day? It was, I guess, one of the first, and I'm sure John's going to post something and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but it was one of the first, I guess, NC-17 video games that was released, I want to say around 2000 for the Nintendo 64, because it had really bad language and some other graphicness and things like that. But it was, wasn't Conker like a squirrel or something like that? I don't know. I have to admit that at that point, it wasn't a game that I was really interested in, and the asking price was a little through the roof. But a friend of mine played it, and I think he brought it with him to community college, so I got the chance to see it at that point. Something about a certain enemy that Vince McMahon would enjoy because it's right in line with Vince's line of humor. And that's probably about as good as I'll be able to describe that while still making the censors. So that's as far as I'm leaving that go. And in regards to The Undertaker, I know I was talking with Lee about the mileage on The Undertaker. He says, age is one thing, mileage is another, considering the amount of abuse the Taker has taken over the years. But on the same token, he's also gotten probably the best vacation plan that any employee has ever had in the history. Oh, Bob. Again, the things just... I don't even know if if I should repeat that, or B, if I really should even get into it, even though I know he's had a couple of cameos on WWE programming. Jared, the Subway guy, and the whole thing you've probably heard about with that, with allegations of being involved in some activities, we'll go with. Man, really making me jump through hoops today on this one. Yeah, the allegations of having things involving children that shouldn't be had. We'll just we'll leave it at that. I think you kind of know where that's going. But there was a comment to that. I'm not even going to repeat it. You can go to the Pro Wrestling Weekly Facebook fan page to read that one, and give us a like. Why not? It's always good to get more people involved in the madness, the mayhem, and otherwise here, to say the least. Let's see here. Coming up on our second time out here, and then on the other side, we've got Today in Wrestling History, we've got birthdays, we've got predictions certain to go wrong, and because it's SummerSlam, I think I'm going to have a little bit of fun with... I'll be able to kick a couple of things around, but a little old track from back in the day. Fans of '93 probably remember this rather notably, and it's actually where another tune kind of got its, I guess its start on CD release or album release. We'll get into that on the other side as well, but I got to tell you about my favorite beer spot, the Broken Goblet Brewery, 1500 Grundy's Lane in Bristol. Broken Goblet Brewing, breaking your perspective on how you experience craft beer, because broken can be beautiful. Each Saturday in August, it's firkin' hot out there. That's right, every Saturday at 2, Broken Goblet will open up a firkin of a different type of beer, and they'll sell it till it's gone. Today's firkin is called the Palme Porter, And all proceeds from the pints of Palme Porter, that's a tongue twister, will go to a donation to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Also, don't forget that Saturday, October 24th, we're a couple of months away from the Goblet's Hoppy Halloween 2 Beer Fest. How about that? Open Thursdays through Sundays for the summer. It's always a good time at the Broken Goblet Brewery, 1500 Grundy's Lane in Bristol, PA. Check them out on the web at brokengoblet.com. Broken Goblet Brewing, the doggone it. Almost got through that. Broken Goblet Brewing, the semi-official brewery of Pro Wrestling Weekly. So I'm going to go hydrate because apparently my throat needs it. And on the other side, we've got room on the phones for your calls, 215-949-3232 or toll free at 888-922-2149. Oh, how could I forget? What a goof. I'll mention it briefly here and give you a little bit more details on the other side, but later this afternoon, a couple of wrestlers making their presence felt over at the Neshaminy Mall. Former tag team champions, one half of them a former WWE heavyweight champion, all over at George's Cards and Collectibles today from 2 to 4 p.m. Let's just say that if you're in need of a little bit of protection, I think you may want to head over there because those are definitely the guys to check out. I'll give you more on that on the other side, as well as the predictions certain to go wrong, more Facebook feedback, more of your phone calls, and we might even hear from the philosopher Chris Irmer on the other side. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe. We'll see if we can get him in here. I know he's entertaining our new old friend to the fold here, Ted Efaw, so he's been notably distracted. So I guess that means I'll have to get the philosopher theme up and ready to go just in case he's got some anecdote or otherwise to bring to the table. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, August 22. On this date in 1999, the WWF held its SummerSlam pay-per-view. In the main event, Mankind defeated Triple H and Steve Austin in a triple threat match to win the World Wrestling Federation Championship. On this date in 2005, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from Hampton, Virginia. In the main event, John Cena pinned Chris Jericho to retain the WWE Championship. On this date in 2011, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. In the main event, John Cena pinned CM Punk. This has been Today in Wrestling History, August 22.
Hi, this is Jim Cornette, and you're listening to Pro Wrestling Weekly with Fearon Derry on 1490 WBCB.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you, and in the span of about 4 minutes, the house filled up here. We went from me being here with all my friends to me being here with 3 more than all of my friends.
Fearon, it's a real circus atmosphere here, Fearon.
It most certainly is.
The Kiwanis Radio Circus.
The Kiwanis Radio Circus.
Yes.
They're in the house following the program today here. They've been a longtime staple here at WBCB. I know very early on in my tenure here, they'd be in the house here with Bill Melody.
It's my first time trying to MC the Kiwanis Circus, so hopefully I'll be able to bring the ladies and gentlemen here into the 3 rings of excitement, delight,
3 rings.
wonder.
What is this? WCW World War III? No, oh, those are 3 different rings. That's.
Well, we're going to have some fun this afternoon. We're going to keep our listeners company with some country music, and also talk a little bit about the radio circus, the Kiwanis Radio Circus here on WBCB, and so we're gearing up. I think
now, I don't want to put you on the spot with a question here, but how long has this the radio circus been going on? I know it predates me, but I've only been here, about 7 years now.
Well, Fearon, you really should not have put me on the spot.
I knew I shouldn't have put you. Well, I mean, I figured. I was gonna say Jack might be able. Yeah, we want to bring a microphone over to Jack here. He's in charge of the thing here.
That. I've only been here since the beginning, and it's over 50 years.
Over 50 years.
50.
Holy smokes! Like I said, don't even know if my parents were a twinkle in my grandparents' eyes at that point.
Well, neither of you guys were born then. I know. You weren't listening in.
Yeah, we weren't around, but...
At that point, Hulk Hogan was a teenager. That's give you an idea how far ago that was.
Of course, I haven't missed one of them, naturally.
And your attendance has always been appreciated. It's always a pleasure to see you in here, Jack. It's been fun checking this out over the last
been a lot of
7
fun,
years.
And it's a nice fundraiser for our club.
Absolutely. So check that out. That's for the Kiwanis Club, the Kiwanis Radio Circus. That's coming up starting at 1 o'clock today here on 1490 WBCB. Chris looks like he's got something to add there. I don't know. You're looking. I don't know. Is it one of your anecdotes? Should I get your music up here and ready to go, or
no? I don't think I'm quite ready for that yet.
Not quite ready for that yet.
Yeah, I was trying.
We're only 3/4 of the way through the show.
Well, I was watching some wrestling, and I was thinking, man, I gotta gear up for the Saturday show.
Gear up for the Saturday show.
But then
Okay.
I thought, wait a second. Ted Efaw's taken over. It's going to be a new era here at WBCB on Saturday afternoons. I don't have to watch wrestling, and in order to study for the show.
You don't have to study anymore. Yeah,
so I watch
you can be studying Married with Children.
Yeah.
Well, actually, here's a little. Did you know? Here's how I'm going to tie Married with Children into wrestling.
I knew you could.
You knew I could. Okay, funny story. So the creators of Married with Children were, in fact, wrestling fans to the point where the last name of I'm forgetting the story word for the main family, the main characters.
The Bundys.
The Bundys. That was named after wrestler King Kong Bundy.
Oh.
New Jersey native.
Local guy, right?
Local guy, New Jersey native and Monster Factory graduate. See, I'm tying all this in. It works so seamlessly. And in fact, their next door neighbors, Steve and Marcy Rhodes, of course, they were named after the American Dream Dusty Rhodes, who we unfortunately lost earlier this year. Ooh. So just one of those little things. And actually, I believe sometime fairly late into the run, maybe like 7, 8 seasons in, King Kong Bundy actually made a few appearances as one of Peggy's cousins from the Wanker family, which is Peggy's maiden name before marrying Al Bundy. So there you go, little Married with Children wrestling knowledge that you probably wouldn't have otherwise gotten.
Well, we're gonna have to get the inside, maybe not the inside story, but Ted Efaw, who again will be with us here on Saturday afternoons on WBCB.
And is in the house here with us. He's in the
studio.
He's getting an idea of the chaos he's about to be thrown into here, it looks like.
Well, he was watching all of the pay-per-views in the late 80s and early 90s. So he'll be dropping knowledge.
He'll be dropping, yeah, or at least name dropping, if not knowledge dropping. Yeah.
Right. Name dropping, yes.
His knowledge is not trivial.
Yeah, I've got plenty of trivial knowledge. That's fine. Things you don't know or otherwise wouldn't care about.
You did impress me because he brings up the Married with Children, and bam!
Just right off the bat.
It's outstanding.
Well, I grew up watching Married with Children. That was one of my Sunday night staples as a youth on Fox.
But that shows how your mind works so quickly. It's impressive.
Yeah, even more so running on about an hour and a half nap on the couch here in the lobby. I know, I break the fourth wall all the time here. It's not breaking kayfabe left, right, and sideways. It's something I'm used to. Oh goodness. So yeah, you're going to be sitting in with the circus here as well, Ted?
That's right. I guess I should get a little closer.
Yeah, It's the microphone won't. But why am I telling you this? You've been doing radio longer than I've been alive.
Well, thanks. Nothing like feeling old. No, but
it's okay. I'm only 23. No.
Not to get us off track, but yesterday I was
off track is what this show is all about.
Well, I was at Sesame Place, and they're a great partner with the Kiwanis as well. They always do the Courier Kiwanis Sesame Classic, and have been doing that for years. But Sesame Place was celebrating their 35th birthday. Wow. And I remember being there on the opening day when I was a wee lad of but like 5 or 6 years old. And it made me feel a little long in the tooth to think of Sesame Place being 35 years old. Sesame Place is an adult. Sesame Place
could run for president.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's right. It is old enough. That's correct.
just cracked the age barrier there.
Yeah.
Sesame Place 2016. Wonder who the running mate would be.
Well, you have to.
Busch Gardens, maybe?
No, the Electric Factory.
The Electric Factory. Oh, there you go. Of course. What is the electric company?
Pico.
Oh, Pico.
Yeah.
That's right, Pico. Who get the top billing? Sesame Place?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Well, you got to get the youth involved with the voting process. They see Sesame Street involved. I'm sure the 18 to 35 demographic that otherwise wouldn't hit the polls they'd be lining up in droves.
And you've gotten so
We're lining
far
up in
off the mark
Grovers.
here,
I'm completely off the mark.
Now, what's the name of this show again?
I think it was Pro Wrestling Weekly, but it has so many different transitions and layers, and it's more layers than ogres and onions combined, to use the Shrek reference.
Well, I think we should let you get back on track.
Yeah, it may not be a bad idea, but I appreciate you stopping in and having a little chat here. I'm sure there'll be more various random epiphanies and everything else going on over the course of your ongoing time here on the Saturday Zoo.
It should be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
That certainly makes two of us. Ted Efaw, thank you so much. The Philosopher, Chris Irmer, jumping around as always.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate your making me feel welcome here on Saturday afternoons.
But why would I do otherwise? I think that people get intimidated by wrestler folk, so I'm trying to.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of an outside. I'm an outsider, but I felt like I was part of the family. So,
well, yeah. What's the point of kind of scaring outsiders away? I mean, WWE goes to probably too great of lengths to bring outsiders in, which is why you've seen like Katie Couric on Monday Night Raw or something like that. Just anything to get an outside demo. Jon Stewart from The Daily Show. He's going to be hosting SummerSlam tomorrow night.
Wow. You got to rise out of Jack with Katie Couric on Monday Night Raw.
I mean, that's one of the many celebrities. Stephen Amell from Arrow. He's going to be wrestling in a tag match in tomorrow night's pay-per-view. Yeah, there's a lot of celebrity involvement. They're trying to make this like the summer equivalent of WrestleMania, which would almost be like having a second Super Bowl in June. I don't know. It's I was going to go on that rant, but I probably shouldn't because I'm sure people will be. Is this your moment? Okay.
Well, I'm excited today because we got some Eagles football later on.
Oh, that's where you were going with
Eagles
this. Okay.
And the Ravens at 7 o'clock.
That's true. We've got the coverage starting here at 6 o'clock on WBCB.
Oh, nice.
And
that's awesome.
I was going to say, here's my other tie-in, I guess. Vinnie Curry, defensive player for the Eagles, huge wrestling fan. In fact, he was out in California for all of the WrestleMania festivities, WrestleMania weekend, and had a lot of featured audience camera time wearing his compression Macho Man Randy Savage Under Armour top.
Heard he was also a big fan of the Kiwanis Radio Circus.
I can neither confirm nor deny that alleged allegation. No.
You can find out online.
There we go. Maybe I'll have to tweet at Vinny. Well, Vinny Curry's getting ready for the game tonight. I don't want him coming after me.
Well, priorities. There's the game, but then there's the Kiwanis Radio Circus. The game comes up after the Radio Circus. We're going to be here throughout this afternoon on WBCB with the Kiwanis representatives and folks from the community who are supporting their group and raising some money. And then the game comes. So, Vinny.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
They say hike, and then he runs and he tries to tackle somebody. I mean, that's it.
The simplification of football from the Philosopher, Chris Irmer.
They blow the whistle and then he stops.
I'm so glad I have the music in the background for this. That might be a highlight bit somewhere down the road. That's what a way to go out, right?
Well, I mean, he plays like a defensive position, right? I mean, I guess maybe you have to cover some people sometimes, but you may have some assignments. I don't know. It might be more, it might be more confusing than I'm leading.
It could be considerably more confusing than you're leading. There's a reason I never played football. It's called Mom Wouldn't Sign the Permission Slip.
They snap the football, you get the guy with the football.
Oh, goodness. All right. We are rapidly running out of time here. Holy smokes.
Well, we're going to have some fun this afternoon.
Yeah, this is just apparently a small sample. I'm lousing up the works in typical, I'm giving it the Fearon treatment.
But, thanks again for, making me feel like part of the group. Not like that Lucas the intern.
Oh,
that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
What do you mean?
I'm dropping the microphone.
You're going to get me in trouble, and I didn't even do anything.
That's it.
Oh, He's going to hear about that later, and he's going to have some words.
Okay.
I'm sure he will, yeah. There'll probably be a smackdown here in the lobby 1 week from Saturday if you're Ethan in the house here.
No violence, though.
No violence.
No violence.
Yeah, we've broken that rule how many times? Alrighty, I've got enough time here for a couple things. SummerSlam, predictions certain to go wrong, and to help out, courtesy of the WrestleMania the Album CD from, 22 years ago, little SummerSlam jam. We'll get that going in a second here. So 10 matches on the card for tomorrow night, and I've also, thanks to the advent of text messaging, was able to get Lucas's picks for tomorrow as well, because we go head-to-head on them. He's actually one better than me for the calendar year of 2015, so I've got my work cut out for me. Rusev against Dolph Ziggler. We're both going Dolph Ziggler for that one. We oppose, or at least we have differing opinions on the Randy Orton against Sheamus matchup. I'm thinking Sheamus is going to get the victory, whereas Lucas is going with Randy Orton. The Divas, the triple threat three-way tag team elimination match. Paige, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch teaming up against the Bella Twins and Alicia Fox against Naomi, Sasha Banks, and Tamina. We both agree, though, despite all those names. We're going with, PCB, because their previous name caused a lot of controversy, as it apparently led to a lot of adult entertainment websites, so they had to quickly change the name of that faction. Yes, Ted, I'll tell you more about that off the air. But we're both going with Team PCB, Paige, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch. Now, the celebrity involvement that I mentioned, Stephen Amell and Neville taking on Stardust and King Barrett. There's a celebrity involved, so the celebrity has to win. It's kind of Wrestling 101 in that regard. I mean, look back to everybody from Lawrence Taylor to Mr. T to Jay Leno from, 17 years ago now. The celebrity wins, so that's where we're going with that one. Both of us agree there. Four-way tag titles on the line. The Primetime Players defending against the New Day, Los Matadores, and Lucha Dragons. We both think that Primetime Players retain the belts on that one. In tag team action, 2/3 of the Wyatt family against 2/3 of the former Shield. Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper against Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. I'm going with the Wyatts. Lucas is going with the former Shield members, Reign and Ambrose. Differing opinions there. Cesaro against Kevin Owens, who he's going to be a busy boy this weekend as Kevin Owens. He's got the ladder match against Finn Balor for the NXT Heavyweight Championship tonight. That'll be on the WWE Network. And then he goes one-on-one with Cesaro tomorrow night. Despite that, we're both picking Kevin Owens to win, despite his heavy involvement. 3 other matches left on the card, 2 of them for titles. Ryback defending the Intercontinental title against The Big Show and The Miz in a triple threat match. I say Ryback retains. Lucas says Miz is your new champ. And then Seth Rollins and John Cena. Rollins has gotten a lot of airtime with his Jon Stewart nonsense, and John Cena, he's been battling a broken nose from a few weeks ago. Suffered at the hands of Seth Rollins. The WWE World Heavyweight Championship and the U.S. title on the line. We're both thinking that Rollins ends up winning that one and getting the U.S. title as well. And finally, Brock Lesnar against The Undertaker, the rematch from WrestleMania last year. We think that Taker wins to even up the series and set up a potential rubber match for WrestleMania 32 down in Texas. So there we go. Predictions certain to go wrong. Also got to mention George's Cards and Collectibles continuing to bring you the legends, including appearing today from 2 to 4 at George's in the Chamonix Mall. None other than former WWE Tag Team Champion, Intercontinental Champion, U.S. Champion, European Champion, Hardcore Champion, and WWE Heavyweight Champion, JBL John Bradshaw Layfield. And as an added bonus, he'll be joined by WWE Hall of Famer Ron Simmons. That's right, the APA reunited today at George's Cards and Collectibles. That's from 2 to 4 o'clock today. Plus, this Friday, just added, TNA's Ethan Carter III will be at George's from 6 to 8 p.m. with the heavyweight title belt. Check out George's 3 locations for all your sports and wrestling memorabilia needs, including their original store at 7755 New Falls Road in Fairless Hills, as well as on the lower level of the Oxford Valley Mall next to the Sears Court, and in the Neshaminy Mall in the AMC Theater Wing. For more information on upcoming signings, collectibles, and more, give George's a call at 215-943-2475 or go to georgescollectibles.com. All right. Wow, we're down to about a minute and a half here, so I have just enough time to squeeze in Lucas's favorite segment.
Birthdays!
That's right, the birthdays. On this date, in 1953, Paul Ellering was born, the 2011 Hall of Fame manager best known for managing the Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom back in the day, Hawk and Animal, in the AWA, NWA, WWE, and New Japan. He turns 62 today. Also on this date in 1958, Lash Rashay Huffman was born. The former 10-time WCW Tag Team Champion known as Harlem Heat's Stevie Ray turns 57 today. Of course, his younger brother, Booker T, having a lot more success in WCW and WWE, but 10-time Tag Team Champion, nothing to sneeze at. And on this date in 1985, Jonathan Salofa Fatu and Joshua Samuel Fatu were born. The twin brothers, former 2-time WWE Tag Team Champions, and sons of WWE Hall of Famer Rikishi, best known as the Uso brothers, turn 30 today. So happy birthday to all you gents. That's going to just about do it for me. Stay tuned. The Kiwanis Radio Circus is in the house here on WBCB. And Lucas should be back next week with a litany of things to talk about. He certainly has no shortage there. So for now, play us out, Nutsy.
1 o'clock in all's well.
Serving you better than ever before. This is 1490 WBCB.